Farmers are on a warpath as they're holding a nationwide protest today.
On an average, 8 farmers have killed themselves every day in the last 4 years in Maharashtra.
Strikes, protests, suicides. Why do they happen? Why are farmers suffering? Because of the prices of their harvest such as onions, soybean, fenugreek, etc. nosediving. Because of small plot sizes, declining productivity and lack of modernization. But mainly because of droughts, floods, which is caused by climate change. Agricultural production is always directly proportional to climatic change in weather. The right amount of temperature, CO2 concentration level in the atmosphere, precipitation, and much more are required to have proper yield and, on the whole, significant impact on crop growth. There's a quote saying that climate change will not only hamper farmers' ability to maintain current harvests, but that countries already facing food insecurity will be disproportionately affected. Agriculture is majorly dependent on the climate. As stated earlier, the carbon dioxide proportion in air, precipitation, and many more are very important. There are other factors that are equally important such as soil moisture, water availability, nutrient levels, etc. And these are causing agriculturists to have a challenging and difficult situation to grow their crops, since this affects the agricultural practices in such a way that it is hard for people to do as they've done in the past. During the recent few years, there is a drastic change in the climate, and the Indian agriculture, which continues to be dependent on the weather and climate, is at risk. Studies show that the average annual temperatures have risen by around 0.48 degrees, and the average monsoon rainfall has declined by 26 millimeters between 1970 and 2016. There has been a steady increase in temperature and in the number of hot days as well as the number of dry days. The impact of climate change would have on the Indian economy is vital, as it will lead to changes in farm profitability, supply, demand, prices, and trade. The climate-induced changes may affect our ability to expand the food production as required to feed the population. Thus, climate change could have profound effects on the patterns of trade among nations, development, and food security. Climate change can affect agricultural productivity in two ways: directly through changes in temperature, precipitation, and carbon dioxide levels; indirectly through changes in frequency of infestation by pests, insects, diseases, or weeds, and soil distribution. Impact of climate change on crop productivity. Agriculture in India is mainly rainfall dependent, and with changing climate and increased global warming, the rainfall pattern has become unpredictable and erratic. As a result of this, a variance in agricultural yield is seen. In some years, the yield is sufficient, also known as bumper production, or insufficient. The rising temperatures has led to decrease in agricultural yields, as variety of crops such as wheat, rice, soybean are directly affected by temperature rise and witnessed a fall in yield with an increase in temperature. Also, the rise in carbon dioxide concentration has led to concentration of nutrients like iron and zinc in plants. Impact of climate change on soil. Another important factor for agriculture is soil. Climate change has profound effect on soil too, as it severely affects the energy consumed during the soil formation, leading to the destruction of the mineral component in the soil, due to which there is a decrease in soil fertility. Further, climate changes affect the water fluxes, which lead to drought by reducing the available moisture and increasing the air temperature. Climate changes has also a huge impact on weathering of rocks, considered to be an important step in soil formation, which has a direct impact on chemical and mineralogical properties of the soil. Impact on pests, diseases, and weeds. Climatic conditions such as dew, sunlight, rainfall, humidity alter the way in which plants grow. Certain weeds, fungi, and pests thrive in the warm and wet climatic conditions, and with the increase in the carbon dioxide levels, incidence of new pests and diseases are bound to increase, which the agricultural crops are unexposed to. The total rainfall or average rainfall has not really changed much, but there has been an increase in water usage. Increased demand-supply gap has led to the perception that rainfall is decreasing. An area is believed to be water-stressed when annual water supplies drop below 1,700 cubic meters per person per year. India is already surviving with around 1,700 to 1,800 cubic meters per year. We are soon going to be in a situation where there will be wars for water. The prosperity in the last 2 decades is because of groundwater exploitation. As our demand for water has increased drastically over the years, per capita water availability has taken a beating. Change in food habits is also responsible for exploitation of this resource, as more water is required to produce the kind of food we prefer nowadays. Signs of climatic change, which is the least manageable, are already visible, and that is going to affect our major crops like rice, wheat and maize. Hence, to reverse the ill effects of climate change, more attention has to be paid to other resources and technologies such as soil, irrigation water, nutrients, crops and their management practices so as to sustain the productivity and to ensure food and environmental security to the country. Adaptive measures are to be taken in a timely fashion, both at the farmers' level as well as at the policy makers' level, to enable the small and marginal farmers to cope up with the adversities of climate change. Overall, the effects of climatic change must be considered along with other evolving factors that basically affect agricultural production, which includes changes in farming practices and technology. Farmers are taken into great consideration and are advised to develop some crop varieties that can withstand climate change or the variations in the weather. Based on the growth of crops, the impact of climatic change on agriculture is being studied, and based on these results, crop management decisions and alternative farming methods are proposed to the farmers and are being implemented. As is the age of technology, computers can be used in these studies conducted with simulation models and better policies to be formulated. In India, substantial work has been done in the past few years trying to understand the nature and magnitude of change of yield of different crops due to climatic changes. It is most important to quantify the growth and yield according to the level of importance, and also under this large range of climatic variation, it is very important to identify the suitable lands and use the wise options to sustain agricultural productivity.